ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to our Saturday and Sunday morning series on Sri Harinam Chintamani. Yesterday we began the discussion on the third chapter of Sri Harinam Chintamani, which is called as Namabhasya Vichar, chanting or understanding Namabhasya. We saw yesterday that how Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks in the second chapter about Nama Grahan Vichar, how we should take the holy name. And the glory of the holy name is that one name, if we take, whether it is pure or impure, whether chanted properly or improperly, Shuddham va, whether properly pronounced or not pronounced, the holy name will deliver that soul. But there is one thing which Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, that we should avoid the offense. We should avoid offenses. And then he goes on to explain what is Namabhasya chanting. And very briefly, he touches upon Namabhas. And then he speaks about the qualifications of one who is supposed to take chanting, and various qualifications he has put in the second chapter end. The third chapter began with especially Mahaprabhu lifting Haridas Thakur and telling the glory of understanding Namabhas. By understanding Namabhas, what is going to happen? One will be able to take Shuddha Nam. Namabhas bhujilo nama Shuddha hobe, anayas jiva nama gune tara yabe. By understanding Namabhas, one will attain pure chanting, and by the mercy of the holy name, the soul will cross over. So this is the glory of Namabhas. And Mahaprabhu himself goes on to speak about what is Namabhas. Namabhas is a dim reflection of the holy name. Abhas, just like the sun, the full sunshine we cannot experience when it is covered by clouds and the fog. So what is this Abhas? Here it is the ignorance and the anarthas, which are like clouds and fog. And they repeatedly cover again and again. And that's why the sun of the holy name doesn't arise in the heart and destroy this darkness. And these two are the main, Agyan and Anartha. Agyan is compared to the fog, and Anarthas is compared to the clouds. In one sense, the ignorance is quickly driven away, but the anarthas, which are like clouds, the fog is quite subtle, the clouds are more gross. So the anarthas take some time to clear. And then uh, uh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that when the sun of the holy name rises in the sky of the heart, then the clouds and the fog can be removed. But whenever we take the holy name, suddenly these clouds and fog appear. With the rising of the sun, there is cloud formation. It is part of it. So this is how, with the taking of the holy name, all the anarthas and the clouds or fog of ignorance cover the holy name. So many devotees ask, before coming to Krishna consciousness, we seem to be very fine and nice. And when we start chanting the holy name, so many other things in our mind come up, so many things pop up in our mind. And we thought that these kind of thoughts, these kind of things were not in our heart. How come suddenly all these things are coming? That is because we are taking the holy name, and all these anarthas in the form of cloud and fog cover the pure holy name. Now, Mahaprabhu himself explains what is this mist. And this agyan, which is called in the form of a mist, can be removed by having knowledge, sambandha gyan. So yesterday we covered everything about this sambandha gyan. If you remember, I showed the slides. The agyan is, ignorance is position of the name, considering the name to be material, position of Krishna, equating the Krishna with Devatas, position of Jiva, Jiva will become one word God, and the goal. So these ignorances, Mahaprabhu himself speaks, understanding, we do not understand the spiritual nature of the holy name. And we don't understand Krishna as Sarveshwar, and we worship demigods. And then one who does not understand his identity and take shelter of Maya. So this is all ignorance. So then he says, Haridas Thakur says that I will be fortunate that from my mouth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will hear about the holy name. And then he gives the Sambandha Gyan, that Krishna and the individual soul are master and servants, and Maya is dull, lifeless matter. When the soul does not know these truths, the shadow of ignorance falls on his head. So this is Tattva Gyan. I was explaining Tattvatraya. Jiva, Prakriti, and Ishwar, or Jiva, Jagat, Jagdishwar. So all these relations we understand, we have a right Sambandha Gyan. Then the ignorance in the form of fog is destroyed quickly. Now he comes, now Haridas Thakur is speaking now. Haridas Thakur now speaks of the clouds of anarthas. And there are 3, Asat Trishna, Hriday Dhaurabalya, and Aparad. In yesterday, I did not mention in Bhajan Rahasya, Haridas Thakur explains that this Hridhay Dhaurbalya anarthas are of four types: Hridhay Dhaurbalya, Asatrishna, Aparad, and then he speaks about Tattva Vibhrama. Tattva Vibhrama means not identifying or not understanding who we are, not understanding the position of Krishna, not understanding the sadhana, sadhya tattva, all these kind of vibramas. So that he has covered here in few verses. So that's why he here mentions only three. The fourth one was tattva vibhrama, that is covered in ignorance in the form of clouds. So that's how Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Bhajan Rahasya has mentioned four. I would like to, show you the slide so that we can correlate with both the things. So just give me a minute to show you this slide of the four anarthas of four types, which we had discussed in the Nectar of Instruction. Yeah, got it. Just a second. Let me share the screen with y'all. Yeah. So here, living being being caught in Maya is caught with four types of anartha: Asatrishna, Hridaya Durabalya, Aprad. So this now he compares to the clouds. And illusion of spiritual truth, Tattva Vibhrama, is also the fourth one he includes. But now he has analyzed in Harinam Chintamani, this is part of ignorance, which is compared to the fog. So basically, there are these four anarthas, and three are classified as clouds, and one is classified as fog. This is ignorance, ajnan, and this is aparad or clouds, anarthas. And here you can see more in detail. What is asatrishna? Desire for material objects, desire for heavenly comforts, desire for mystic powers, desire for liberation. These are all thirst for material things. And hridaya dhaurbalya, weakness of the heart, miserliness of the heart, tucha asakti, attachments to things not related to Krishna. Kutinati, that is deceitfulness and fault finding. Matsarya, enviousness, and swapratishta, desire for fame. And aparad, he again says nam aparad, seva aparad, vaishnava aparad, jiva himsa aparad. And tattva vibhrama, we saw in these verses 8 to 12. In verses 8 to 12, not understanding one's identity, not understanding Krishna's identity. So all these fall in Swatattva Vibhrama, illusion of one's own identity; Paratattva Brahma, illusion about the Supreme Personality; Sadhana Brahma, illusion about the process of sadhana; and Sadhya Brahma, illusion about Prema Bhakti. So these are the different types of Brahma we have. Bhaktivinoda Thakur here he has mentioned about sadhana and sadhya, Swatattva and Paratattva, and sadhana and sadhya, that is Abhideya and Prayojan. Abhideya is Bhakti, Prayojan is Krishna Prem. So like that, these are the four kinds of anarthas. Sorry, something is going wrong. So these are the four kinds of anarthas which are deep rooted in the heart, out of which three are classified into, clouds. One is classified, the fourth one is classified in the form of fog of ignorance. These are classified into anarthas. This is how, clouds of anarthas Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining. Now, yesterday we had stopped at text 20 after discussing these anarthas. So let us go now to text 21. Now, he has explained, that when, okay, sorry, there's one question, I'll take it up. Give me a minute. So he explains that when these clouds, these anarthas block the light coming from the sun of the holy name, it is namabhas. The definition of namabhas is given here. The holy name is perfect, but it is not covered, but we get covered. And yesterday I showed this slide. If you have observed yesterday, I don't know something, the PPT is, yeah, the holy name is like the sun, but our eyes get covered because of all these desires, all these weaknesses of the heart, lust, anger, enviousness, all these cover our vision of the pure holy name. And further, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, when will Namabhas come to an end? Because only when Namabhas comes to an end, then we can take to Shuddhanam. As long as one does not understand his relationship with the Lord, and the individual will take shelter of Namabhas. And when we take knowledge from the spiritual master and become expert in understanding the tattva, bhajan, then the anarthas will slowly fly away. And what is this knowledge? Sambandha Gyan, Sambandha Abhideya and Prayojan. So when we get this Sambandha Gyan from Guru, and we, according to Sambandha Gyan, do the Abhideya, then we will get the Prayojan. The holy name, like the sun, will start rising in the heart and destroy all the anarthas. And by this Prayojan, we'll then get Krishna Prem and we'll chant out of love of Godhead. So this is here we ended our discussion yesterday. There is one question. I will take it up. Virendra Yadav Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, my question is we are comparing our anarthas with clouds, and clouds have the nature of appearing and disappearing. So do our anarthas also have the same nature, appearing and disappearing?
Oh, wonderful question. Interesting, very, very interesting question. Yes. The question is that the anarthas are compared to the clouds, and the clouds, you see, they appear and disappear. So, what about these anarthas? These anarthas also appear and disappear? Yes. What is happening in the nature, what we see, also is happening within our heart. So, when we take the holy name, which is like the pure sun, with the taking of the holy name, these anarthas are there, deep rooted. Deep rooted in our heart, they are there. And they slowly cover the holy name in the form of clouds. And these cloud coverings is also in the form of the three modes. The three modes, especially the modes of passion and ignorance, cover the heart. And that is why we cannot experience chanting. We are battling with our chanting. We are struggling to focus because the modes of passion and ignorance cover. And because of that, we are not able to focus on the chanting. And what is this passion and ignorance? Rajas tamo bhava ebe sabhaya achand vasudeva kataruchi nahi se prasan, as Srila Prabhupada says in his Markan Bhagavad Dharma prayers. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is mentioned, Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadascha e chet eter anavidham stitvam satve prasidati. Rajastamo bhava. Kama lobhadash tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadascha et. So the rajas and tamas, which is manifested in the form of Kam and Lobh. Kam is mode of passion, lobh is the mode of ignorance. Hmm? All this don't cover after the stage of Nishta. This is after this verse, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So, until Anarth Nivritti has not happened, these clouds repeatedly cover the sun of the holy name. And that is why we are battling in our chanting, especially in the stage of Anarth Nivritti. When we are doing Bhajan Kriya, we are battling with these anarthas. And the more we chant, the more these clouds come, and we have to, intensely chant so that the sun of the holy name will shine brightly in the heart and it will drive away these clouds. So this is a battle which is going on internally. And after the stage of Anarth Nivritti, by the Namabhas chanting only, by this solid Sambandh Gyan knowledge, when we take up to chanting, then slowly, the fog also will disappear and the anarthas in the form of clouds will completely be eradicated. Now, just like in the summer, the sun which is shining very bright in the sky, there are no clouds there. The sky is clear and the sky is blue. You can see the blue sky, which is like Krishna. So similarly, when we take to the pure name and then the Shuddha Nam, we can realize it is Krishna and we are able to see Krishna face to face. So this metaphor of comparing to the clouds and the fog is in reality what we see in nature, so that we can understand the subject properly. And definitely we see that always when the sun is there, the clouds and the fog is there in particular seasons. But definitely with the sun of the holy name, because Krishna is eternal sun, he is not the temporary sun of this material world. He is the eternal sun, and that eternal sun will be always what? Illuminating our heart. Na tad bhasate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramamam. So there is no need of the sun because everything is self-illuminous. So when the Shuddha Nam, manifest in the heart, then no more the clouds or the fog can cover the jiva, and that time we have attained perfection. Is it clear, Birendra Yadav Prabhuji?
Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much, Coach.
Any other questions? Anyone has?
Prabhuji, what is Namabhas in a very simple way?
Okay. What is Namabhas? Now, yesterday we discussed. Here is the definition of Namabhas. Again, I'll bring out. One minute. Text. I'm not able to recollect which is that text.
Text 14, Prabhuji. Text 14.
Text 14. Huh? Mhm. Yeah. When these clouds block the light emanating from the sun of the holy name, it is called Namabhas. However, the holy name of Lord Krishna, which is perfect in itself, is always uncovered. So what is Namabhas? Here you can see the sun or the moon is now covered by the fog or the clouds. So we cannot have a clear image of the sun or the moon because it is obstructed by this fog or the clouds. So similarly, the pure holy name doesn't manifest when the clouds in the form of anarthas and the fog in the form of ignorance is covered in our heart. So this type of chanting where the pure holy name doesn't manifest, it is called as Namabhas or Abhas. That is what is the meaning of Namabhas. Okay, there is another question. Yes. Maya Narsim Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam. Just adding on to the previous question asked by devotee, I would like to say my understanding from your learning, Prabhu, from your classes, what is Namabhas. So Namabhas, what you explained is in the form of clouds and fog. It's a kind of philosophical way of explanation. I think the easiest way to explain or to say is that I heard from the devotees saying that Namabhas is a stage where you are trying to focus on the holy name and you are trying to hear the holy name when you are chanting, and you are avoiding the 10 offenses. So that definition is also very much has been in the current.
Yes, Namabhas is called as offenseless chanting. Namabhant is offensive chanting. Namabhas is offenseless chanting. Yes, when you're able to focus and chant and you're avoiding the 10 offenses, that is Namabhas. This is also one way of understanding what is Namabhas. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Harinam Chintamani is giving from another way explanation. So that explanation we are going through Harinam Chintamani now. So what exactly is happening? That when one has crossed the stage of Namaprad, that means the modes of passion and ignorance have come down. One is in the mode of goodness. And in the mode of goodness only, what happens? We are able to focus on the holy name and we are very attentive to hear the holy name. And when we are attentive hearing the holy name and avoiding the 10 offenses, that kind of chanting is Namabhas. This is a correct understanding. But what exactly is happening inside? What are these actually which obstruct? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going into an in-depth analysis. The obstructions are in the form of ignorance and anarthas, which really obstruct the pure holy name to manifest. And what is this ignorance? What is this anarthas? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going more in-depth about it. So that is a general understanding, and it is a correct understanding. But a deeper understanding, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us to go deeper into the subject and understand what exactly Namabhas is. Is Ajamal's taking name of Narayan is a Namabhas which cleansed his heart and given another chance for Krishna consciousness? We will come to that. Please hold on. It's going to be a very interesting discussion now. Please hold on, and we will come to that discussion very soon. Okay, so I have to discuss now text 21. Okay, so Sambandh, Abhidheya and Prayojan, by this knowledge, the ignorance will be destroyed. That was mentioned. Now let us go to text 21. Knowledge of the individual soul's relationship with Lord Krishna. Sambandh Gyan. First he has spoken about all three. Now each one he is going to speak. Sambandh Gyan, he speaks from text 21 to 27. Sadguru Charane Jiva Shraddha Sahakare Pratama Sambandha Jnana Paye Suvichare. With the help of faith in the feet of the bona fide spiritual master, Sadguru Charane Jiva Shraddha, with faith, Sahakare, the soul attains knowledge of his relationship with Lord Krishna. Pratama Sambandha Jnana Paye Suvichare. So we see this in the Sanatan Shiksha. When Sanatan Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ki Ami, Ki Tapatraya, who am I? And why these threefold miseries are always inflicting us? So when he put forth these questions, then Sambandh Gyan knowledge, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives to Sanatan Goswami. And Sanatan Goswami is our Sambandhacharya. The more we read Sanatan Siksha, the more we read Sanatan Goswami's books, our Sambandh Gyan becomes stronger. And with this Sambandh Gyan, when we practice Bhakti, then the Abhidheya will be practiced properly, and then the Prayojan will attain. So Sambandh Gyan, Jivera Saruphoye Krishnera Nityadyas. So this is a famous verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we should attain this Sambandh Gyan from the Sadguru. Krishna Nitya Prabhu Ara Jiva Nitya Das, Krishna Prema Nitya Jiva Swabhava Prakash, Lord Krishna is eternal master, Nitya Prabhu. The souls are his eternal servants, Nitya Das. Love for Lord Krishna is eternal. Krishna Prema Nitya. In this way, the true nature of the soul is manifest. Jiva Swabhava Prakash. Krishna Nitya Das Jiva Tata Vismariya Maya ke Jagata Phire Sukha Anveshya. Forgetting that they are Lord Krishna's eternal servants and therefore seeking happiness. Maya ke Jagata Phire. Away from Lord Krishna, some souls are thrown in the world of Maya. So forgetting that, that I am Krishna's eternal servant, I am here in this world of Maya trying to attain happiness, separate from Krishna. Jiva Krishna Das, Karulo e Vishwas, Aradukanai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing this. So even now as practitioners, if we are feeling some, misery in this material world, unhappiness in the heart, it is only because we have not fully realized and we are not fully in that constitutional position as Jiva Krishna Das. Karlo ye Vishwas. Vishwas means deep faith. Aradhukanai. Then there is no more, misery. This world is full. Vishwa Puram Sukayate. This world full is filled with bliss, you'll feel. This world, which is called as Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam, you will feel Vishwa Sukam Purnayate. And this whole Vishwa is filled with happiness. Because this deep-rooted Sambandh Gyan, we are not fixed up. That is why we are facing miseries. Anyway, we have forgotten our relationship. We have come to Krishna consciousness. We are reviving that relationship. But we are fully not situated in our constitutional position. That is my point. Maya ke jagat hoye jiva karagra jivera vimukha dosha danda pratikara. Maya's world is a prison house for these souls. A prison house where punishment is given to correct the criminal souls who have rebelled against Lord Krishna. Maya ke jagat. This Maya is what? It is a karagra for the jiva. It is a prison house. And what? Jivera vimukha dosh. Because they have rebelled against Lord Krishna, danda pratikar. So this material world is sometimes compared to a prison and sometimes it is compared to a hospital. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining how the Maya world is compared to a prison. Now in the prison, the prisoners are punished and they are made to work very hard. At the same time, the prison superintendent also feeds them and gives them some facilities within the prison. So both are there. But really, if you see from a right angle, the prison house is a place for criminals who are violated the laws and they are being punished and they suffer there. So when the prisoners realize or repent for their wrongdoings and rectify their mentality, then actually seeing their conduct, sometimes the jail superintendent can release them before. Similarly, we have rebelled against Lord Krishna. So we are in one sense criminals, criminal souls. That's why it is mentioned here. And this rectification is, you might think, when we see this analogy of, we are in the prison house, how Krishna is so cruel. What kind of a cruel father he is. He has put his children in this prison house and he is giving us punishment here. But actually, this punishment is to rectify of our mentality of trying to lord our material nature so that we can get purified and attain our constitutional position and forever be with Krishna in full of eternity, bliss and knowledge. So we should see from that perspective and not from a very negative perspective that, when we hear sometimes this analogy of being compared to, we are in the prison house, sometimes from a negative perspective. Oh, we start hating the Lord. Oh, why did the Lord, put me in this prison? Why is he putting his children in suffering? But this suffering actually is the unlimited mercy of Krishna. If Krishna would have created another world, which is, eternal, full bliss of knowledge, then we would think, this is the world I should live in. But that world is only in the spiritual world. Because we have a separate desire to enjoy separately from Krishna, that is why Krishna has created this world. And in this world, he has Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. This is created like this, so that we can realize and come back to his abode. That is the reason Krishna has created. There is a footnote. The 14 material worlds which are ruled by goddess Maya is a prison house for souls who have rebelled against Lord Krishna. It is not a place for recreation and enjoyment. The sense pleasures are all temporary and lead to great suffering. Yahi samsparsha ja bhoga dukkha yona evate adyantavanta kaunteha na teshu ramate bada. That suffering is punishment, and by that punishment, the rebellious souls become reformed. So this place is not for, it is a place for rectification and reformation. Tabe yadi jiva sadhu vaishnav kripaya sambandha jnanite puna krishna nama paya tabe paya prema dhana sarva dharma sar yahara nikata sayujadikar dikhar. However, if one of these souls, by the saintly Vaishnava's mercy, Sadhu Vaishnava Kripai, understands his relationship with Lord Krishna, Sambandha Jnanite Puna, and chants Lord Krishna's holy name, Krishna Nama Paye, then he attains the great treasure of spiritual love. Tabe Paye Premadhan. That is the essence of all religious activities. Sarva Dharma Sar. At that time, Tahara, even liberation of merging in the Lord's effulgence becomes detestable. It is detestable. So here again there is a footnote. I, an infinitesimal conscious being, am Lord Krishna's eternal servant. Lord Krishna, the all-powerful conscious being, is my only master. This dull and inert material world is a prison house meant to reform me. This is true knowledge of the individual soul's relationship with Lord Krishna. So I told yesterday that how we should, what is the meditation we should have while chanting. While chanting, we should have this meditation. I am an infinitesimal conscious being, Atma, Anuchetana. And Krishna is Vibhu Chetana. And this material world is a prison house meant for reformation. So with this Sambandha Gyan, if we chant every day, especially we will become free from Namaparat. And we can come to this Namabha stage. So it's very, very important. This is a very important meditation which we can have while chanting. Yavat Sambandha Gyana stira nahi hoy, tavat anartha nama bhasera ashray. So I was explaining that as long as we deeply are not rooted in Sambandha Gyan, till then, we will be, have to deal with anarthas and we will take ashray of Namabhas. However, as long as he has no certain knowledge of his Yavat Sambandha Gyan, relationship with Lord Krishna, the soul will naturally take shelter of Namabhas. Namabhasa ashray, Namabhasera ashray. So, repeatedly, we should be fixed in this consciousness. I am Atma. Krishna, I am Anuchetana, and Krishna is Vibhu Chetana, and I am in this prison house of Maya because of my rebellious nature to enjoy independently from Krishna. And I should chant the holy name in this mood, in this consciousness. And I'll tell you, if you start meditating on this consciousness and start taking up to chanting, you will experience a different, experience of chanting you will have. So this is a very important principle which Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning. So I have summarized here from 3.21 to 27. Namabhas. We have this Sambandhi Gyan and chant the Bhakti Abhidhe, and then the Shuddha Nam will slowly manifest, and then we'll get the Prem Prayojan. So now Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the next theme explains Nama Bhasera Phala. What are the results of Namabhas chanting? This is from text 28 to 34. Namabhas dashate o aneka mangal jivera avasha hoy sukriti prabhal. Namabhas chanting brings many auspicious benefits. Aneka mangal, by it the individual gains great piety. Shubha, Sukruti. Now this Sukruti is again, which Sukruti? Can anyone say? Which kind of Sukruti he attains by Namabhas chanting? You can type in the chat box which kind of Sukruti he attains. Bhakti Unmukh Sukruti. It is called as Bhakti Unmukh Sukruti. We saw this in the first chapter. There is Karma Unmukh Sukruti, there is Gyan Unmukh Sukruti and Bhakti Unmukh Sukruti. So chanting is spiritual activity. It is activity in relation with devotional service. But Namabhas chanting brings on that Bhakti Unmukha Sukruti. Okay, I have to share the screen. Yeah. Okay, let us go through these results of chanting and then take up the question answers. There are some question answers on the chat, but I'll take up first. Let me finish this. Namabhasya nashta hoy ache papayata. Namabhasya mukti hoy kali hayayata. By Namabhas, sins are destroyed. Papayata, ache, all sins are destroyed. By Namabhas, liberation is attained. Namabhasya mukti hoy. All the effects of Kali Yuga are overcome. The effects of Kali Yuga also overcome. Namabhase nara hoy supankita pavana. Namabhase sarva roga haya nivarana. By Namabhas, one becomes purified of the mud of materialism. Panka is called as mud. And Pankaja refers to, the lotus. The lotus which is born in the mud. So that is why the lotus is also named as Pankaja. So by Namabhas chanting, all the materialism which is filled as a mud in the heart is completely driven away. Namabhas, all diseases are cured. Sarva roga hoy nivaran. So this is a powerful effect of Namabhas. Sakala asankya Namabhas dure hoy. Namabhasi sarva arishta hoite shanti pai. All fears flee from Namabhas. Asankhya, ashankya, shanka means fear. Dur hoy. A person who chants Namabhas is safe from all calamities. Yaksha rakshasha bhuta preta graha samuday Namabhasya sakal anartha dhureyaya. Yaksha, Rakshasas, Bhutas, Pretas, evil planets and Anarthas all free from Namabhas. Narake patita loka, Shuke mukti pai, Samasta prarabdha karma, Namabhasayai. By Namabhas, the souls fallen in hell are delivered. From Namabhas, all past karmas flee. Prarabdha. So here is, you can see the powerful effects of Namabhas chanting. So we know by sadhana bhakti, Kleshagni and Shubhada happen. These are the first two, characteristics which manifest in sadhana bhakti. And slowly, as we practice sadhana bhakti and enter bhava bhakti, two more characteristics manifest. That is Sudurlabha and Moksha Lagutakrit. So when we start chanting Namabhas chanting, slowly all the sins, prarabdha as well as aprarabdha, are destroyed. This is the powerful effect of Namabhas chanting. And the jiva, by Shuddha chanting, by pure chanting, he will attain love of Godhead. Whereas Jnanis who practice the Jnana Marg, even if they are Jivan Mukta, still their Prarabdha karma is not destroyed. They have to suffer the reactions of their Prarabdha karma even in that body, although they are liberated, although they are Jivan Mukta. But see the powerful effects of bhakti, that with sadhana bhakti, prarabdha as well as aprarabdha get destroyed. Kleshagni happens. So this happens because of the Namabhas chanting. This is the power and the potency of the holy name. Sarva Vedadika, Sarva Tirtha Hoita Bada, Namabhas Sarva Shubha, Karma Shreshtatara. Namabhas is better than all the Vedas and all the holy places. My goodness, it's unfathomable. This is the glory of chanting Namabhas. Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita, 2.46, he says, Yavan Artha Udpane Sarvata Samprudodakai, Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu, Brahmanasya Vijanata. In that purport, he says, the highest Vedantist is one who offenselessly chants the holy name. So the highest knowledge of Vedas is what? To offenselessly chant the holy name. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning that Namabhas is better than all the Vedas and all the holy places. Namabhas is the best of all auspicious deeds. Sarva Shubha Karma Shreshtatara. So again, it is auspicious means here it is spiritual activities, bhakti, activities. So that is how is the glory of Namabhas. Now here everything I have summarized in the chart. Effects of Namabhas. Punya again here refers to bhakti, unmukh punya, freedom from disease, karma, attainment of dharma, artha and kama. You become free from all this. And then moksha, it gives liberation. And it gives, correct. Yeah. And it gives faith in Shuddhanam. So these are the effects of Namabhas. This is about Namabhas chanting. Any questions anyone has? You can raise your hand. There is one question which is typed in the chat box. If anyone has any questions regarding what we discussed now, there is one question. Anand Prabhu, how to attain Namabhas chanting? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining that two things. One is the Sambandha Gyan. From the Guru, we get Sambandha Gyan. Who am I? Who is Krishna? What is my relationship with Krishna? So in this Sambandha Gyan, we attain from the Sadguru, and with this Sambandha Gyan, we chant the holy name. That means we practice Abhidhe, and then slowly the anarthas will get destroyed. And then we can take up to Shuddhanam. So Namabhas, the best way to, become free from is the Sambandha Gyan and practice bhakti in relationship with the Sambandha Gyan. In relationship with the Sambandha Gyan, we practice bhakti and then we will attain to Shuddhanam. So that is how from Namabhas we can become free. Now, any other questions anyone has? You can raise your hands about Namabhas. Yes, Maya Narasimha Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, it is very hope-giving and very inspiring, your sessions, especially this one. Prabhuji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not mention much about how to chant the holy name in the stage of Namabhas. He talked about background knowledge of Sambandha, but he did not talk much about offenses or how to focus while chanting. So can you throw some light on this, Prabhu?
Okay. So this is a very interesting thing because today there are a lot of japa seminars which are conducted where a lot of techniques for chanting are given. And if you see the entire Harinam Chintamani, Bhaktivinoda Thakur doesn't speak any techniques of chanting there. And of course, these techniques, in one sense, for us in today's world, are little helpful, at least to avoid the offenses. So these are important, the techniques. Just like for Ashtanga Yogi, for him to attain these higher stages of dhyan, dharana, and samadhi, he has to focus on asanas and pranayam. These are pranayams are all techniques with they are how to do pranayam asanas and regulate the body, how to do pranayam and regulate the mind. So these are techniques given, mechanical techniques, which help to go to higher stages. So similarly, these kind of techniques which are there given in the japa seminars or in the books are helpful because we are not at that stage where we can, where we are free from the modes and we are, we are able to focus on the chanting. So techniques do help. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Harinam Chintamani is giving knowledge. And with this proper understanding and proper knowledge, when we do chanting, that will have the effect. That will definitely have the effect. Like, what exactly is offense? We discussed in the second chapter, when we don't realize, we separate Krishna from his holy name. So when we are chanting the holy name, we should chant in this knowledge that Krishna is not different from the holy name. Krishna is present in the holy name. But if you are a little inattentive, while chanting, that means you're not having this knowledge that Krishna and the holy name are not different. And your consciousness, your attention is going to something else. So if we practice, our chanting based on the knowledge given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, by changing our attitude, changing our approach to the holy name, then everything is taken care. So that's how Bhaktivinoda Thakur is approaching the subject. Is it okay, Prabhuji?
Thank you very, very much, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, there is a question by Gauranga Prem Prabhu. Sambandh Gyan is given by Diksha or Shiksha Guru. Sambandh Gyan can be given by everyone. The first day we come and attend a Bhagavad Gita course or a 7-day course or a what is this, discover yourself, journey of self-discovery. We are getting Sambandh Gyan. We get this Sambandh Gyan knowledge in ISKCON in various forums. Every day we hear the Bhagavatam class from whomever we have inclination to hear. Every day we are, hearing from Prabhupada from his books. We are getting Sambandh Gyan from Prabhupada's books. And of course, if we can get directly from our Shiksha Gurus. Now, Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, this understanding, we should have very clearly. The Diksha Guru and the Shiksha Guru function as the same. And both are Uttamadhikaris and Mahabhagavats. They are very elevated Uttamadhikaris. So if we have a Diksha Guru whom we are in touch and we are constantly able to, hear from him and we are able to inquire, it's excellent. Or if we have a Shiksha Guru who is also a Mahabhagavat, whom we are in touch, who is approachable and from whom we are able to get knowledge, that is also fine. But in ISKCON, we have something called as the counselors who are 10, 15 years or more than that, quite experienced in spiritual life. And from our counselors also, we are connected to Bhakti Vrikshas or different terminologies which are used in ISKCON. From them also, we are regularly hearing and we are consulting them. That is also fine. So from all these sources, we are getting Sambandha Gyan. Is it okay, Gauranga Prem Prabhuji? Okay, so now let us come to the next theme, which is very, very important. From here on, we will see how Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to go something deeper about Namabhas. Namabhasera Vaikuntadi Praktavya. Attaining Vaikunt by Namabhas. Dharma Artha Kama Moksha Chaturvarya Data Sarva Shakti Dhare Namabhasya Jivatrata. Namabhas. This is part of again the results of Namabhas only, but he has subdivided now here from 35 to 37. Namabhas bring forth the four goals that are Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. All powerful Namabhas delivers the conditioned souls. Jagat Anand Kare Shreshta Pada Prada Agatira Ekagati Sarva Shreshta Pada. Namabhas fills the world with bliss. It is the only shelter for the shelterless. Shreshta Pada Prada. It is the place, it places one in the best possible position. Ekagati, Agatira, Ekagati, Sarva Shreshta Pada. Sarva Shreshta means the best possible position you are in Namabhas. Vaikuntadi Loka Prapti, Namabhase hoy, Visheshata Kali Yuga, Sarva Shastra Kahe. By Namabhas, one attains Vaikunta. Now this is really a little controversial, you feel. And the other spiritual realms. In Kali Yuga, all scriptures especially recommend Namabhas. So here it is very interesting, and we have repeatedly heard this thing, by Namabhas one attains liberation. But here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning that by Namabhas one attains even Vaikunta. Now, here there is a distinction to be done that Bhanu Maharaj explains. I heard this explanation from Bhanu Maharaj, that by Namabhas we can attain Vaikunta. It means that we are close to the door of Vaikunta and still we are absorbed in Brahmajyoti bliss. So in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, it is mentioned how the Asuras who are also killed by Krishna attain liberation. But some of the Asuras which are killed by Krishna, they, the Shragala Vasudev, it is mentioned, who also thought he is also Krishna, when Krishna killed him, he attained liberation and he attained the planet of the Lord. But still, because he imitated like Krishna, Krishna put him in Vaikunta, but still, because there was no loving reciprocation with Krishna, because he wanted to compete with Krishna in one sense, he was absorbed in the bliss of Brahman only, Brahma Sukh only. So Rupa Goswami gives this example of, when he discusses that how Kama Dveshat Bayat Snehat Sambandhat Vrishnaya, when he explains that how the gopis by Kama attained also Lord, and those who are envious also they attained the Lord. How same destination? Then he clarifies, the gopis attained prema for the Lord in the spiritual world, whereas these who are dveshi, they attained Brahman, and Brahman is non-different, Brahma Jyoti is non-different from Krishna. So in that sense, they attained only liberation. They did not attain a loving relationship with the Lord. So in that verse, it is mentioned that Shrigala Vasudev, although attained the Vaikuntha planet, but still he was absorbed in Brahman happiness. Now, to again give some understanding of what this is, sometimes in a family, the father has many children and the mother, and they have very nice loving reciprocations. And when one of the child separates from the father and takes the wealth of the father and goes and enjoys in this world, and he suffers, all his wealth is lost, he might come back to the father, but because he has broken his relationship with the father and the mother, he might stay in the family, but he might be cut from the family relationships. He's just staying there and absorbed in his own world. So this is something like, you have attained Vaikuntha, but you're not actually in relationship with the Lord. So here, that is the meaning. You enter the door of Vaikuntha, but still you're absorbed in Brahman. So this is what this is how we should understand when Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying here. Another important thing to be understood is that most of the demons who are killed by Krishna, especially Krishna, attain impersonal liberation. So what the sages, by practicing meditation for millions of lives, attain impersonal liberation, the demons easily attain by being killed by Krishna. So this is what is mentioned in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But some demons attain a special kind of liberation. And few are like Putana. Putana did not attain impersonal liberation. She attained the nurse because she had some thought, a thought came, she saw Krishna as child, mother, Putana as a mother, she saw Krishna as child. So that Vatsalya Bhav, which came for a moment for Putana, Krishna accepted that and gave a Dhatri. So she attained a special liberation in the form of attaining in Golok as a nurse. Then Shishupal. Shishupal is again, if you know, he is Jaya and Vijay. They are Jaya and Vijay, Shishupal and Dantavakra. So although Shishupal merged in the body of the Lord, and everyone saw that in that sabha, and the word also in the Bhagavatam used is Sayujya. He attained Sayujya. So Sayujya is impersonal liberation. But Srila Jiva Goswami explains Sayujya also means Sayujya, to again unite or reunion. So because Jay and Vijay are again pure devotees of the Lord and they are serving the Lord in Vaikuntha, so Jay or Vijay, I don't know who is it, as Shishupal again reunited, because for 3 births they would be enemies of the Lord, so that the Lord can relish Virya. So that's why they had come here. So in that sense, there are some special cases also. So this is how we understand this verse. Okay, now this is going to be a very, very interesting understanding, and this I would like to now take up. We have some time we want to take up. Maya Narsim Prabhu, I will take a question after the end of the discussion. Okay, I want to finish this one more theme. Okay, so let us now go to this next theme. Okay, the next theme is text 35. Sanket parihasya stova ohela eichari prakara namabhas. There are 4 kinds of namabhas. Sanket, parihasya, stoba, and hela. Sanket is hinting someone else. You're sanketing someone else and you're taking the name. Parihas is out of joking. Stoba is mocking. And hela is inattention or contempt, in contempt. Chaturvida namabhas ei matra jani. Sanketa o parihasa stoba helamani. I know 4 kinds of namabhas. They are sanket, hint, parihas, joking, stob, mocking, and hela, inattention and contempt. There is a footnote. Let us first go to the footnote. Sanket parihasya. There is some background noise. Hare Krishna. Sanket, parihasya, stoba, and hela are the 4 kinds of namabhas in audible chanting of the holy name. All kinds of namabhas fall into these 4 categories. From hela to stoba, and from stoba to parihas, and from parihas to sanket, the fault in chanting becomes progressively less and less. So I hope you understand what this means. In hela, the fault is more. In stoba, it is still less. In parihas, it is still lesser. And in sanket, it is still less. So from this, the fault in chanting is progressing in this direction. So that is what uh, one thing which is there in the footnote. Now here I put this in the slides now. We went through this benefits of or the follow of Namabhas. There are 4 types of Namabhas: Sanket, Parihasya, Stobha, and Helna. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this verse is there. Sanketyam parihasyam va stobham helanam eva va vaikuntanam grahanam ashesh agha haram vido. One who chants the holy name of Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins. Ashesh agha. Ashesh means unlimited. Agha means sins. Haram. Haram means it become free. Hari is, that's why one who steals away all our sins. Even if he chants indirectly to indicate something else. Indirectly is Sanket. Jokingly, Parihasyam, for musical entertainment or even neglectfully. Musical entertainment is Stobham or mocking also. Helanam is neglectfully. This is accepted by all learned scholars of the scriptures. And what? Vidu. Vidu means all learned people know. Vaikuntha Namagrahanam. He is actually, those names are the names of the Lord who resides in Vaikuntha. So Ajamil chanted Sanket, but we will now later on come to the further discussion when we'll understand, although Ajamil chanted Sanket, which was Namabhas chanting, but later on he attained Sambandha Gyan with the Vishnu Dutas and Yamdutas having that discussion. And with that Sambandha Gyan, he practiced spiritual life and ultimately attained the holy abode. Because by Namabhas you can only attain liberation. But to attain the Lord, we have to chant Shuddhanam. So for attaining love of Godhead, he later on was given some time, and in that time he perfected practice of bhakti by taking up to pure name and attained the Lord in Vaikuntha. So let us now a little bit go in a little detail about these 4 types of chantings. Sanketa Rupa Nama Bhasyara Prakara Dvaya. So within Sanket, there are 2 types of chanting. Vishnu Lakshakari Jada Buddhe Nama Loy Anya Lakshakari Vishnu Nama Ucharaya. In Sanket, there are 2 types. One kind of Sanket Namabhas is when the chanter, although aware that he speaks the name of Lord Vishnu, intends that it refers to someone else, to something material. So this is the example of, Ajamil. Ajamil knew that, Narayan is Vishnu's name, but he was indicating to his material son, who was also named as Narayan. The other kind of is when the chanter is not aware of the name of Lord Vishnu, but speaks it anyway. So he doesn't have the knowledge that Narayan is actually the name of Lord Vishnu in the spiritual world, and he takes the name. Now let us see the example. Sanke Dvida E Hai Namabhas Ajamil Sakshi Tara Shastrera Prakash. In this way, there are 2 kinds of Sanket Namabhas. The scriptures say Ajamil is an example of first kind. Yavana Sakala Mukti Hobe Anayas Harama Harama Boli Kahe Namabhas. When they say Haram Haram, the Muslims easily become delivered. This is the example of the second kind Sanket Namabhas. So in the second Sanket Namabhas, when they're taking Haram Haram, they don't know that Ram is the name of Lord Ram. They have no knowledge about it. So this kind of Sanket Namabhas, which is chanted by the Yavanas, they chant the second category and they attain also liberation. So let us now go to the chart and see this. Oh, it is not here. I have not. Yeah, there is 4 types. These are called as Ashraddha Namabhas. Sanket, Parihasya, Stobha, and Hela. name of Vishnu, it tends to refer someone else and is material, Ajamil. Not aware it is the name of Vishnu, the Yavanas. So these are these two categories in Sanket Namabhas. Anyatra Sanket Yadi Hoya Namabhas Tatapi Namera Teja Na Hoy Vinash. Even though in Sanket Namabhas, the chanter refers to someone or something other than the Lord. This refers to both kinds of Sanketa categories. The power of the holy name is not lost. The power of the holy name is not lost. Now, with reference to this two types of chanting, Sanket, two types of chanting, I would like to take the discussion from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, but time is up. So in the next week, I will take up to go more into detail into the Chaitanya Charitamrita of these two types of Namabhas, especially the Sanket Namabhas. And that time, we'll try to understand what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. And then we can clearly understand from Chaitanya Charitamrita what Haridas Thakur is speaking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. So I will stop here, but there is one question which was asked by Maya Narasimha Prabhu. So I will take up that. Yes, Maya Narasimha Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This question is a little technical, Prabhuji, regarding liberation. I got stuck with this explanation, Prabhu. It is said that every jiva has a particular relationship with the Lord, which is called as Swarupa. Then how is that liberation by entering into Brahmajyoti, which is incomplete? And how one can proceed further to attain Swarupa without returning to this material world? As Krishna tells that once who gets liberation, he will not take birth in this world. So,
Krishna doesn't say that. Where does Krishna say that? That one who takes liberation doesn't... where does Krishna say that?
He says in multiple places, not exactly in 4.9 where he talks about Janma Karma, but other places. Mamu Petya, what is that in the Abrahma Bhunar Loka Punara Vartinorjuna, Mamu Petya Kaunteya, Punar Janma Napete.
So he's not speaking about liberation there. He's speaking of attaining his abode there.
So, but liberation definition itself is freedom from birth and death, isn't it?
That the Gyanis attain. The Gyanis attain liberation in the Brahma Jyoti, and they also don't come back. That is for sure. They don't come back.
So then that liberation is incomplete. Then how they proceed to their Swarupa from there?
See, the Jiva Swarupa understanding we should have very clearly. There are different levels of understanding of the Jiva Swarup. The Jiva, Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit. This understanding is, yes, it is an understanding. It is correct. I am not matter, I am spirit. So the Gyanis have this understanding, and based on this understanding, they have their Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya and Prayojan. And they attain that Swarupa, that I am Brahmasmi. But in the Bhakti literature, the highest level of that Swarupa is given. Jivera Swarupa Krishnara Nityadas. So the Bhakti practitioners practice their Swarupa, Jiva Swarup, is to serve Krishna. And to serve Krishna, we need a spiritual body. So that is why in the spiritual world, the Jiva is given a spiritual body to serve Krishna. So that is also a higher level of understanding versus Swarupa. So the Gyanis, they become free from the gross and subtle bodies. And they are situated in their Swarup as Aham Brahmasmi. And they don't have a spiritual body to serve Krishna because they have this level of understanding. That's it. But the devotees, because they have this highest level of understanding of the Jiva Swarup, is to be servant of Krishna. So that is why they enter the spiritual world in the Vaikuntha planets and the spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan. And the highest manifestation of Swarupa is to have a spiritual body where we can serve Krishna. So they attain that. So the Gyanis also are situated in their Swarupa, but that is the beginning of the level of the Swarupa understanding, Aham Brahmasmi. And that is how we can differentiate between the two. Is it clear?
Yes, but it means that our Swarupa is also based on our desire.
Yes, the Gyanis and the Yogis have a desire to attain liberation. They want to become free from the cycle of birth and death. So that is their desire. And, those who are devotees, they have a desire to serve Krishna. So based on the desire, Krishna reciprocates accordingly. They are mokshakami. They are mokshakami. Their level of understanding is that, I have to become free from the material world, free from the cycle of birth and death. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. So based on that philosophy, they practice their sadhana and then they attain that. Because they have a desire for liberation, they attain that goal. So Krishna, is Krishna is Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetanam. As per the desire, he fulfills all the desires of the jivas accordingly. If we are hell-bound to, attain liberation and, become free from the material miseries, and we practice that sadhana strenuously, then Krishna gives that liberation.
Okay, Prabhuji, very interesting explanation. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions anyone has? So we will now be going more into this Namabhas. Now Namabhas, again, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to go quite into detail. There is something called as Ashraddha Namabhas and Shraddha Namabhas. And Ashraddha Namabhas, now we saw there are these 4 categories: Sanket, Stova, Parihasya and Hela. And in Sanket, we saw these 2 categories. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to speak, these are called as Ashraddha Namabhas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to speak about Shraddha Namabhas. What is Shraddha Namabhas? And in Shraddha Namabhas, there are these 2 categories. And after we understand this is like for us, my goodness, oh, holy name, what is Namabhas? We really now understand. And with this knowledge, when we start chanting, it will have a complete different impact on our chanting. Be sure for this. So the next 2 classes coming Saturday and Sunday, we are going to go more in depth of Namabhas, and especially we'll first start our discussion from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Ajamil and the Yavana who are delivered by Namabhas is being explained by Haridas Thakur to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why Diksha means Divya Jnanam? Diksha means Divya Jnanam because Diksha means to give knowledge. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshanante te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshanam. So there what Diksha means is given in 4.34 of the Bhagavad Gita. Upadikshanti te jnanam. Attaining knowledge from a bona fide parampara, Guru Shish parampara, whether it be a Siksha Guru or a Diksha Guru, or somebody who is giving us Bhagavad Gita quotes. So all this, knowledge we are attaining, that is also a kind of Diksha in one sense, because we are getting Sambandha Gyan of Krishna, that I am soul, Krishna is supreme. So when we attend this Bhagavad Gita courses, we get all this knowledge. So in that sense, it is actually Diksha for us. And he is called as a Vartma Pradakshak Guru, the Guru who took us to the path of Krishna consciousness. So all these, levels we should understand Diksha. Is it clear, Gauranga Premay Prabhuji? Okay, there is
Yes,
Teerth
please. Thank you. Understood. Thank you.
Teerthpad Prabhuji. Teerthpad Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. I have unmuted you.
Yes, please. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, actually, doctor wants to see us listening. She wants to ask a question.
Doctor?
Doctor, Lasya.
Oh, daughter. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Please tell me.
दुर्योधन भगवान कृष्ण के सामने उसकी मृत्यु हुई थी, किंतु वो नरक में गया था.
Can you repeat the question, Teerthpad Prabhuji?
Duryodhan's death was there in front of Krishna, but why he went to Narkloka?
Duryodhan left his body in front of Krishna?
That Malli fighting was there, Gada fight, Bhim and Krishna was there in present of them.
Yeah, Krishna was there present, but he did not leave his body, there and then itself. Duryodhan was lying there. his thigh broken completely, and he was lying there for a long time. And in the night, actually, he came, our Ashwathama, and Ashwathama, what did Duryodhan, actually, what he gave him the commandership, and Ashwathama, along with Kripacharya, went and massacred the entire tent of the Pandavas and got the 5 sleeping sons heads. He beheaded them and he got them to Duryodhan. And he told that I have killed the 5 sons of Pandavas. Duryodhan was very happy hearing this. And suddenly when he touched the heads, it was night, when he touched the heads, he could realize, oh, these heads are not the heads of Pandavas. Whom have you killed? Then he revealed that, I killed the sons of Pandavas. Then he lamented. Being a Kshatriya king also, he was still having these principles. Oh, you have killed the sons of, sleeping sons. You have not followed the war code of Kshatriya. So he started lamenting. So it was said that Duryodhan, when he will Harsha and Shoka, when simultaneously will come to him, that will cause his death. So he was Harshit when he heard that the Pandavas are beheaded by our Ashwathama. And then suddenly when he touched the heads, he came to know that they are the sons of the Pandavas. He went into a state of lamentation. This state, he left this body. So that is why he was in that state, and that is why he had to. I don't know whether it is mentioned in the Mahabharata that he went to the hellish planets. Now Duryodhan, in the Mahabharata, it is mentioned that when Yudhishthir, when he heard that Krishna left to his abode, Yudhishthir and all the Pandavas also went to the Himalayas, and from there they went back to the spiritual world. But in the Mahabharata, it is mentioned that Yudhishthir went to the heavenly planets. And in the heavenly planets, he saw there Duryodhan. He was in royal opulence. So it is mentioned that Duryodhan went to the heavenly planets. Now, this is the understanding from Mahabharata. That the Mahabharata also explains that the Pandavas also went to the heavenly planets. They attained the heavenly abode. Because Mahabharata is a scripture which focuses on dharma, artha, kama, and very less moksha is given. Moksha part, the moksha Narayani is there, one portion in the Mahabharata. So very less portion of moksha is discussed. So Mahabharata is a scripture which speaks about dharma, artha, kama. So from Mahabharata reading, you might also come to a conclusion that Yudhishthira attained heaven. But from the Bhagavad perspective, if we see, from the Bhagavad perspective, we see Yudhishthir is an eternal associate. The Pandavas are the eternal associates of the Lord from the spiritual world, and they all went back to the spiritual world. And from Uddhav's perspective, if you see, when Uddhav is describing to Vidura, he describes the battlefield scene. Whoever saw Krishna there, all attained liberation. All who died on the battlefield seeing Krishna there, they all attained liberation. And then there are again categories there also within in the battlefield who are attained what all destinations. A general categorization is there from Uddhav's description, and even Bhishma in his first canto 9th chapter prayers also mentions about it, that all attained liberation. So we have to take this explanation of the Bhagavatam as the highest explanation. Okay, Lasha Mataji, is it clear to you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Any other questions anyone has? Okay, so next week, we will go into more of Namabhas understanding. There is one more question. I will take up Virendra Yadav Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandut Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is ki now we have understood that Krishna and Krishna's name are non-different, but still while chanting we don't realize, and it falls in Tattva Vibhrama. I mean, so it will be counted in Mayavad consciousness?
See, we have this knowledge, but while chanting, we have to actually develop this mood. There is three things, there is a meditation which I heard, that before chanting we can meditate like that. What is that? Faith. We have to have that faith that Krishna is not different from the holy name. This is the faith. We should begin our chanting. Then we should develop the humility of the heart. In a humble state of mind, let me chant the holy names. So faith, humility, and in a surrendered consciousness. As a loving offering to Krishna, I'm going to chant Krishna's name for his pleasure. So this kind of a meditation, when we have, we calm down the mind. And by calming down the mind, we focus our consciousness in hearing the holy name. With this Sambandh Gyan that the holy name is not different from Krishna, and we avoid all distractions around us. We sit in a quite secluded place within our home, in front of Tulsi or the deities, or in the temple, surrounded by devotees in circles with Tulsi, or in front of the pictures of Radha and Krishna. And in this mood, if we chant attentively, then we'll at least be able to avoid Namaprad. We'll be able to avoid Namaprad. And slowly, these subtle understandings of Namabhas chanting and all that will slowly we'll come to understand. First is to come to the mode of goodness and chant. And best is in the morning times when the mode of goodness is prominent. But we see early morning times also when we are chanting, still we feel sleepy because anarthas in the form of ignorance is there in the heart. Tamaguna's prabhav is there in the heart and we feel dozy, we feel sleepy. So all this we are battling now. But with this all knowledge, Sambandh Gyan, and with these kind of external surroundings and internal meditation, when we do chanting, and that type of focused chanting will start immediately giving us powerful effects in our chanting. Is it okay, Prabhuji?
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions anyone else has? Okay. So thank you very much. Very grateful to all the devotees who have been participating. And if you have any other questions also which come up, you can always type it or record it in the WhatsApp and send it to me and I'll try to answer. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.